Yeah. Yeah.
Give me that same rhyming energy.
Yo. Let's get it.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
Yo, we're so happy to have you, people.
We are.
Yes. What's going on with y'all, man? How y'all living on this beautiful day that God has created? This is the day.
Oh, gosh.
This is the day that the Lord has made. That the Lord has made. We will rejoice. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And be glad in. Oh, this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Oh, this is the day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Praise God. Hallelujah.
Wow.
Thank you, Jesus. Woo. All right. Coming out with a bang.
You guys don't know this, but he's been singing these songs like for the last 25 minutes.
Listen, it's
before the
VBS.
pod
It's
started.
VBS season, so all the VBS songs are coming out. They're all coming out. You want me to sing another one?
No.
Okay,
Not
all right.
right now. We'll
Red,
sing-
yellow,
No.
black, and white. Jesus
I didn't get to go to VBS. So I
loves
don't
the
know these
little
songs.
children. All right. All the I was gonna
Our
keep
kids, yeah, our kids are in VBS
children
right
of
now.
the world.
Are you
Red,
done?
yellow,
Okay,
black,
it's not
and
done.
white.
We're still going.
He is precious in his sight. Okay, I'm done.
I
I'm done.
can't stop you praising the Lord.
Jesus loves Yay! The children of the world. Okay, all right, I'm done now for real.
For real? Okay. This is
Jesus.
Wow, this is literally my life.
Man,
Like every single day,
I'm
this is
so
my life.
blessed.
And you know what's crazy is that we had 3 kids and now they are all the same, just like him.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no seriousness in our house.
What a blessing.
I'm very, you know, and I'm so surprised you can be serious on the pod, but it always starts a little bit.
Yeah, a little loopy.
You got to get it out of you.
Yeah, I gotta get it out.
Gotta get
'Cause
out of your
then we gotta lock
system.
in.
Lock in.
Lock in, okay?
Oh, my
So how are you doing
gosh.
today, babe?
I'm good. Intros. I'm Dana. This is my very
Y'all know who we are,
enthusiastic
man.
Matthew
This is
husband.
episode 13. Y'all know who we are by now, okay? Just make sure you follow. We're gonna have a little thing that pops up on the bottom of the screen. Home of the Harveys. Make sure you follow on all the platforms. You know what I'm saying? Instagram. Home of the Harveys. TikTok. Home of the Harveys.
YouTube.
We don't even need the sound effect board. And make sure you guys press that subscribe button.
They
Oh,
know
man.
exactly what to do now with those
They do.
sound
Listen,
effects.
you guys, there it is, man. If you guys don't do it by now, like there's nothing. I don't know what else to do. I've done everything I can. Okay, so we're just happy to have you guys here.
Yeah.
Okay, obviously I'm extremely excited to have you guys here.
Yeah.
It's exuding. Is that the word? Exhilarate. Okay.
You're
All right,
excited.
babe. So, anyways, what are we talking about today?
Well,
We're only like 10 minutes into the pod, and we haven't. You know what's funny? I talked to my boy Jason. He calls me every so often, and it takes us about 10 minutes to get into a serious
yes,
conversation.
It's very.
Because it's just a lot of
It's hard to
foolishness to
hear-
start
it's
the
hard to
call,
hear, yeah.
and after like 10 minutes, we're like, why are you calling me again? But it's just a lot of just me and him doing a lot of that.
You guys are
It's
the
just,
same, almost the same person. So it's like,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I love you, JP. Yeah. All right. Anyway, so yeah, what are we talking about today? What are we talking
Well,
about?
which is very odd to me, but one of the questions that people ask us a lot is about dating, and I'm like, I don't know anything about dating, like.
What do you mean you don't know anything about dating?
But I guess like they want to know like what are like how you would go about dating, like how our dating life was. Like I guess that's kind of where they're alluding to, because obviously they know we're married, but. So I thought we'd talk about it a little bit, but I feel like I'm like kind of the worst person to talk about it with because
Why do you say that?
I didn't like date.
So you had no boyfriends?
I had one,
One sounds crazy.
And-
God bless you. Good for you.
and it was kind of like a boyfriend where I was like, it's kind of like everyone was doing it, and so I guess,
Everyone
like,
was doing that boyfriend? Or
having
what do you mean by that? Can you elaborate, please? Because we have listeners that are very confused.
no, like
'Cause
everyone
I was confused
in
when you
high
said that.
school like had a boyfriend, like that was the thing, and
Okay.
and so when this guy was like, yeah, you want to, and like I was like, yeah, someone's interested in me, yeah. And so,
After you like cleaned up the drool off your face from your head, you're like,
oh my
you wanna
gosh.
be my boyfriend?
Yeah, it was hard for me to date where I was. It was not like that, first of all.
That sounds crazy.
That
Yeah, my
is
sound
so
effects are on
crazy.
fire today.
You today are I can't even focus. Like, stop. Oh my gosh.
I'm crying over here.
But this man over here was like date king. Like, he just.
I don't know what that is. I was a lover boy growing up, so I don't know what date king. I've had like 4. I think I have 4 or like 5 serious relationships. That's a lot. I'm sorry, but
That
they were
is a
all
lot.
like they were all more than a year. They were all long, like that's long term. If you're in high school and you're even in elementary school,
I
middle school,
really-
at a year-long girlfriend, that's
yeah,
a
but
long
those
time.
don't count though.
Why
Like,
don't they
I do
count?
not count anything before high school, truly.
Why not?
Because no one's serious. Like, what did you guys do? Hold hands? Go to the movies?
Yeah, that's a
Your
big
parents
deal.
dropped you off at the movies? Be real.
Does
Did you
anybody
pay
have
for
a
the
middle
movies?
school sweetheart? Is that a thing?
I don't
If you guys
know.
have a middle school sweetheart, please say something in the comment. I'm gonna give y'all something.
Yeah, or like elementary school sweetheart.
We're doing a giveaway. If you have a middle school sweetheart, you
Yeah.
deserve something. Okay, I'm gonna do a background check too, so you better be ready to answer some questions. But you deserve something. God bless you. Okay,
Yeah.
but yeah, dating today is a different ball game. Like obviously,
Yeah.
when we started dating, this was back in 2010 when we started dating, and back then, that's when Instagram had like just come out. There wasn't no like swipe left, swipe right. There was no like there.
Oh, there was
the date,
on
no.
like Plenty of Fish. I
But
think like
Plenty,
a website.
Plenty of Fish wasn't out yet.
I think it was like a website.
It
Like,
was-
it's not. There were no apps.
Well, yeah, there was no dating. Yeah, dating apps weren't a thing.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard our story before, but if you haven't, let me tell you about how love at first sight works. Okay. So I'll let Dana tell it because I'm clearly not going to be serious about this story.
He's
so,
not going to be serious this whole pod, which is terrible.
You guys are welcome in advance. So, how did we meet? What was dating like for us growing up?
Yeah. So, what's crazy is that we met in college in Idaho, of all places, which a lot of people already know this, but I kind of was like, I'm older than Matthew by a year. And
Cool girl.
So,
Wow. So you girl.
so I was a grade ahead of him, and I already knew what it meant to date a football player. So I was not
And
trying
you're
to
still
do
like,
that.
I love you.
No.
No.
So I was definitely not trying to entertain that. And he was very much trying to entertain anything he could find up there. So
I don't know if that's true. I think we're taking this a little far now. Okay. Okay.
okay, he wasn't the typical football player, but he was like close. But anyways, I just kind of thought he was like a player, and he tried to reach out to me and try to get my number, and I just denied him because I knew what they were about. I definitely like profiled you, but
Wow. At least
Football
you're honest. That's good.
yeah, the football players just they had a
Oh,
bad
not
rep.
the black thing. It was more
No.
the football. Oh, so I'm just.
Oh
You
my
said profile.
gosh,
I don't-
no, profiled you
Can't
in a
trust
way that
those.
you're a football player. I grouped you in with them, so I was like, yeah, definitely don't want to get mixed up in that mess. And then you were just really persistent. Like, you were very aggressive and persistent. You would steal people's bikes to like ride it over to my house. You would like meet me on my.
I returned the bike. I borrowed it. I didn't steal it. I borrowed it without them knowing, but I brought it back.
I went to, I was on the business side of our college campus, and he was on like the general studies side. So like very much not the same classrooms.
It's liberal arts. Don't make it sound so like general studies. Like, okay, it's liberal arts.
I also have a liberal
and
arts
social
degree.
sciences.
Oh my gosh,
Hey, shout out to all my liberal arts and social science degree majors out there.
that's not a degree,
It is
but okay.
All right.
But anyways, so he would just end up at like in my classrooms, like next to my outside my door, and I'm like, oh, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I was just walking by. It's uphill. The business school was uphill, and he was
Yeah,
like always there. So
I was
he was
walking
like
by.
really persistent, and then we ended up. He's actually really funny and had gotten my number somehow. I'm not even actually sure how you got my number.
It was Facebook, actually. That's how we were communicating initially, through Facebook.
Oh yeah. Because like he saw me in the weight room where we all work out. For all the college athletes, worked out in the same room, and he saw me and he tried to meet with me through one of my friends, our mutual friend.
I pointed you out, and I happened to
he
be
was
walking
like-
with one of my teammates when I pointed you out, and he said, "Oh, that's my roommate." And I said, "That's your who?" was like, "Are you guys on a thing or anything?" He's like, "Nah." I'm like, "Say less." He tried to like, "Nah, but you can't." I'm like, "Shh." You know, you put the hand on the lip thing. I'm like, "Shh, I'll take it
But
from here."
he already knew, and then he was right. I was not about to entertain that. But then you found me on Facebook and tried to like talk to me there.
Oh
But
yeah, and if you guys put in some work on Facebook, you can find anybody. And I was gonna make sure I found you, and that I did. That I did.
yeah, so it
So
was
I
a
put
lot
on
of
the
back and
slipperiest,
forth.
slidiest shoes I had, and I slid right in that DM. Like, you know, you're like Frieza, you know, like he just slides on his ice.
I
Like that was me,
at
right into
one
the DM.
point
Just
I think you probably still have it somewhere, a book that I made you of all of our screenshots of like our beginning conversations. Do you remember that gift?
yes, I do remember that. I don't
I
know
don't
where that
know
is
whether
though. That
that
was a long
is,
time ago,
but we
but
could pull up those
maybe we
receipts
shouldn't. I don't know. That was a little weird back
because
then.
it's hilarious to see. I remember you like sent me your number in a message and I just didn't respond. And it just sat there for like weeks.
I'm like, maybe I should resend this. I don't know. Should I? Did this go through?
And then you just showed up at my house one time and I'm like, oh my gosh. And then you had messaged me on Facebook while you're in my house, like, can I get your number
All right,
now?
guys, don't just pop up at people's houses. That's probably not the best way to approach a relationship.
Yeah.
But I was there to see my teammate. I was like, "Oh, what's up, bro? Oh, you live? What's the? Let me come on inside. What's the chances?"
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think there was a lot. There was a lot of persistence. There was a lot of conversation that took place beforehand. We got to know each other.
Yeah. It was like, I think you reached out to me or you started talking to me before your 21st birthday. So before September. And then we didn't start like actually talking and being kind of serious until after spring break. So it was like a good 8 months of us just kind of talking back and forth and then not actually like dating. So I think that was healthy.
Yeah, no, I think it was very well. And as I said, me growing up, I wasn't really like, I wasn't thotty like that growing up, right? I wasn't, so even when I went to college, I wasn't really into like the whole like, you know, being willy-nilly and, you know, just slinging that thing everywhere. Like I tried to, I wasn't that guy, right? You know, but I'm a mama's boy, so I grew up like always loving to be around someone that I can like love on and that can cater to me and that like we can build that kind of relationship with. So I always like to be around, like be in a relationship, you know? And I think that was what I was kind of searching for when I was in college because I did, you know, I was messing around a little bit. Like I was going to parties, meeting girls, and then I was like, but it just didn't feel right. Like I preferred to be like more in like a stable relationship. And that's what I was searching for. And a lot of these girls are just moving nasty out there in college. You did what with her? I was just talking. I'm like, okay, then that's not it. Like, we can't all be, you know, swimming in the same pond. Like that is weird. You know,
Yeah.
so I knew that like I needed something that was a little bit more low key, something that I could build a relationship with. And then like as I started talking to her and we started building this relationship, I realized that like she was different than all the other girls out there. And I was like, come to daddy. Come
Gross.
to daddy. And so that's how we started to kind of build on that. And then I realized like obviously you were very funny. You were into it. We had a lot of the same interests, a lot of different interests as well. But that's a lot of what kind of captivated me too. So I think that process of getting to learn and getting to know each other, it was kind of like you weren't just throwing yourself out there, right? Like you made it a challenge. Like you made me work for the relationship. You know, it wasn't just like, oh, you play football? Yeah, come on over. Like it wasn't any of that. So, let me encourage you ladies out there. Make them work. You know, don't make it easy. You know, who wants to buy the cow if you're already giving them the milk? You know what I'm saying?
Don't give out any milk.
Who wants
please.
the chicken if you already giving them the eggs? You know what I'm saying? Who wants the cheese if you're where cheese was? That's the cow too,
comes from
huh?
the cow, yeah.
God, I can't do that twice. Can't do the cow twice. All right, y'all get the picture.
You know, but now like when I think back at our story, like I feel like it's God's hands all over it. Like we're so lucky, but I do not want that for my daughters, and I don't want that for my son either. And I think that there's so many things that are different with our story because I found Jesus much later. I found Jesus after we met. I found Jesus through you, which is great, but not everyone can be so lucky and just be like, oh, you know what? He's not a believer, but I'm going to just continue to try. Like, just save yourself and just date a believer. Like,
Well, so what was it then? What played a role in you being the way that you were? Was it like anything? Was it community? Was it family? You know, was it church? I know you didn't really have much of a church life, but what was it that created this young Dana that was like not necessarily pushing for a relationship, but willing to like actually get to know someone before taking it seriously? What were some things that you grew up on that made you the way you were during that season of life?
Well, it does help that I grew up around a bunch of Mormons. So
What does that mean?
like everybody is like trying to be on the straight and narrow. Like we're not doing crazy things. Like the craziest rated R movie they'd probably ever seen was like Chucky or something. Like it was just not we.
Chucky's scary.
Like my childhood was like very innocent for a really long time. And so I think that helped the environment that I grew up with. And then, I mean, I wasn't Mormon, but all my friends were. And then that was also another contingency where people didn't date me because I wasn't Mormon. So they already knew like that I was a waste of time because I'm not going to convert to be Mormon.
Girl,
so they're not going to.
Don't make yourself feel so small like that. You were a waste of time.
To them,
you
yeah.
were time well spent for me.
And like by the grace of God, I did not convert. But I'm just saying that there was like I do remember having like crushes and stuff. Like I remember I had a big crush on my mixed doubles partner in tennis, and he wouldn't even give me the time of day because I was not Mormon. And what's crazy is he married someone that looked kind of like me. So
he's like, so if you want me, you know what you need to do.
But anyway, so that helped. And then also my dad didn't really let me date. He didn't really like he told me I had to wait till I was like 30 to date, which was like a joke, but at the same time I was like kind of too afraid to ever ask if anyone did ask me out on a date. So, yeah, that's kind of how I grew up. So when I got to college, I was still like kind of dating this guy, but like on the low, and it wasn't like super serious. I didn't actually like really love him, which I realized when I got to college because I could care less that he was not there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you should care, right? And so I realized like I'm just leading this guy on, and broke up with him. And then when I was in college, I was lucky that I was in a relationship with him my freshman year because I was like faithful per se. But then I was watching all of these girls kind of just throw themselves at guys because now they've got this freedom. There's like no parents to go home to. They can be up at any time of the night. And then you're like, I saw all of my friends, my dorm friends, like everybody around me was just like being so crazy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I do not want to be like that. And I think that kind of saved me a little bit where I was just like, yeah, I'm not just going to like hook up with all these guys in college. And great. And I'm so glad because I didn't have the conviction from Jesus during that time, but I had some kind of like conviction. And so I'm grateful for that because I definitely would not want to put myself in a compromising position like some of my friends have. And so I just wanted to, I think God saved me in a different way, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you're married to me now, so God was saving you for me.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of it was. But growing up for me, it was as I said, I was a mama's boy, but I also saw like my family dynamic, and not just like my direct family, but my aunts, my uncles, like seeing their relationships. It was like we were very tight knit, and for the most part, like everybody was married and had like a pretty happy family, and there was not really a lot of like baby mama, baby daddy drama in my family. So a lot of what I grew up seeing was that, and I realized that like, hey, if I ever get into a relationship with someone, it needs to be serious, and I need to be ready to like have a family that is like staying together, and like there's like the baby mama thing was like never even an option. Like my mom was like, yo, if you bring a baby home, I'm gonna cut it off. I'm like, whoa, mom, take it easy.
Crazy.
Take it easy. But yeah, my mom was like pretty cutthroat like that. But that's why I was always the type of person that wanted to be in like these deeper long-term relationships because that's just like the environment that I saw with my family growing up. So that's a lot of what I tried to cultivate, as I was dating and trying to find a partner in life. And obviously I didn't start getting super serious about that until like late high school, college. And then even when I got to college, which we'll talk about a little bit more later, but a lot of the people you're around make a huge difference to the person that you're going to become. I always say like, you're always an average of your 4 to 5 closest friends. So during that season of life, I didn't have the best community around me. So then that always played a battle for me as well. But what do you think it would have been like if we were, or no, let's just talk about you. If you were dating today during this specific era of social media, like what do you think that would be like for you?
Man, I would be really lonely, I think. Just kidding. I think because I'm just so afraid of like what culture has done to like people. I wouldn't want to meet them in any kind of environment except church, I think. So I would want to be in those kinds of circles. And I know it's hard even there to find a person, but I think if you can like immerse yourself in the groups and the events at church, like that's where I would be. And I would probably pour myself into other things that I'm interested in to find someone that would be kind of on the same level. Like, definitely not going to the club to find somebody. Definitely not going to like house parties. And I don't know if people do that anymore, house parties. Go to those to find your spouse. Like, I'm going to find my spouse somewhere where I know we can grow together in that same exact event that we're doing it in, like whether we're serving at church, whether we're like playing tennis together, like whatever it is. I would just rather find it like that and not on an app. But I also don't know how hard it is out there right now. So, but I would say that one thing that convicted me a little bit about singleness was this John Piper book. It's called A Momentary Marriage.
John Piper got you in a headlock.
He does. I love that book. That's probably my favorite book on marriage. If anyone needs a book on marriage, I would read that. It's kind of a hard read, but it's deep. It's so rich. Like, it took me a whole summer to just really digest it. But I think that we kind of all expect to get married. Like, because it's such a on display blessing, everyone is seeking that. And same with like having kids. Like, it's like a blessing that's like right there in your face, and you're like, that's beautiful, I want that. But sometimes God doesn't have that blessing for you, and you have to be okay with that. So I think being content with your life right now and what you're doing, that's more important. And then I think your spouse will come to you in that season, not in the season of you seeking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I wouldn't just join church just to find a spouse. Like, I know they always say, like, find a spouse in the house, but, like,
Amen.
Don't seek it. Like, just go to church because you want to go to church. Serve because you want to serve.
Yeah.
Like, go sign up to play tennis because you want to learn to play tennis, or you do play tennis. Like, don't do things in searching for your boyfriend or spouse or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, and you brought up a good point there, because so I don't think like it would have been a lot different for me, just because of how I was raised, and as I said, like the family environment that I was around, with social media around. I don't think it would have been that different, but I will say that there would have been a lot more distractions.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, you have those people who want that quick hookup. There's going to be people in your DMs. There's going to be people, if you download those apps for swipe left, swipe right, there's going to be people that's trying to connect with you. Like, even though I wasn't on those apps, I found myself on those apps. What I mean by that is, like, someone was like, "Yo, I think I seen you on this one app," and I was like, I don't even have that app. And that was during a season where me and you were, I think we were married, right? Or we were engaged.
I think we were dating, and we were engaged maybe, and someone used your picture.
Yeah, so it's like that's just another form of like of a distraction. So those distractions are gonna be there. But what I will say, and how I can encourage parents who have kids that are growing up that are maybe starting to date, or eventually at some point your kids are going to date, is I would encourage them to get into a community, right? And like you said, like church was a big thing for me. Growing up, I was in, students, young adults. I was in those environments where I was having face-to-face communication with other young adults and like-minded young adults as well. Like, of course, there are some bad apples in those situations at times, but at least you're practicing having communication face-to-face with people and not just being stuck behind, a keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Stuck behind a screen where you're depending on, who knows, Chat GPT to write this long message for you so that you can somehow create a relationship. And then when you meet them face to face, you're like, you don't know what to do. It's awkward. And like, you don't have those people skills. And a lot of that also came from me getting involved in sports, right? Like, so being in team sports where you have to communicate with people, I think that helps a lot with the anxiety that kids have today when it comes to dating. Like, I remember in camp growing up when we used to go to a camp at my church. They used to make us ask the girl out to be to go to the dance with us. Not the dance, what they call it. Um, it was kind of like a prom in a sense. It was something like that. But there was like it was the banquet is what we called it. So we had banquet night, and they said the guys have to ask the girl to the banquet. So and it was like the cool thing to have a date at the banquet back then. So I love that they did that because that forced us to get out of our comfort zone and to actually ask a girl to the banquet, have a conversation with another gender, and practicing also like dating skills because they had a whole class. It wasn't a class, it was like a message that they did or like a training where they were like, hey, this is where the knife and fork should be, you should open the chair for them to sit down, this is how you hold your hand, so they put their hand here, and this is how you walk, you open the door for them. So it was just teaching basic skills of like how to be a gentleman and how to go on a date, because a lot of that is missing in today's culture. So I would just encourage parents, like, any opportunity you get to get your kids in front of other kids or in a good environment where they can start building this kind of confidence to have conversations in a social setting, like, do it.
Yeah.
Because I think that helped me a lot as I was going through, high school and college, and just being able to have the communication that allowed us to have the relationship that we did today without depending on swipe left, swipe right.
I do think I noticed that early on too when you asked me over for dinner. Like, we were in college, like, we're poor, we didn't have things, we couldn't like go out, but you invited me over, you had like a whole setup, set the table,
Let's go.
made this super dry pork chop for me.
You
and
didn't
it
have
was
to add that part. You could have just said,
like,
I made you food.
the effort
Why you
was,
have
like,
to go
there.
super dry with it? You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
never forget,
I was
like,
still in training.
I couldn't swallow it, like, it was so dry, but
She's like, good. Good.
and I think that that's what also drew me to you, because I was just like, oh wow, he's like not being like these other guys who are just like, oh, come over and watch a movie, and I want to date ourselves. But we were back in the day where it was like Netflix was on a DVD. You had
to order them Johns and
order
return it when
and
you were
then
done.
return it in the mail. And so we could have easily just did like a Netflix and chill. We're poor, that kind of thing. Like, and then I remember another time you had saved up money and bought me like a Kindle, and like the things that you did were very thoughtful, and I think it was like personable to me, instead of like, oh, I'm gonna buy you flowers just because that's what everybody does. But you really like were intentional, and I think that makes for a good spouse. So if like someone's looking and they're dating, finding someone that's like very intentional, like naturally just very like in tune with you, listening, those are qualities of like a great person, and that a great person would be good to marry. But I think when we're dating, we can get so distracted with like the idea of like the date, because I remember seeing this recently because it was like prom season, and like what they were doing to show off how they asked their date to prom, or how they send
these
off.
people are going all out these days. Have you seen that, Mario?
It was insane.
Yo, I think I see one dude pull up in a helicopter.
It was crazy.
I'm like, these people are going all out right now.
That's
It's
not
wild.
I don't want someone to pick me up in this like lavish car.
Just so
with
showy.
Like all these,
It's like you're not doing it for your date. You're doing it for everybody to see. Like,
get rid of the showiness.
Yeah, you got to be careful of that. Red flag.
Be authentic. Yeah, and I think like one of the ways to like kind of filter through that is just through communication for an extended period of time. So like we dated in college and we were together, and then we went into long distance dating for a while, and then all we had was communication. We didn't really get to see each other very often, and then we would just Skype all day long.
Yep.
And I think that that's what helped build our relationship, and what kind of weeded out any kind of like uncertainties with each other and things like that. And I think that that's really important. Like, people are so quick to like hang out and like do something physical, and if they can just communicate and just talk and have like good authentic conversations without the fluff of distractions or like being on their phone. We were at a restaurant the other day, and I watched this couple next to us who they were on a first date because they came in and they introduced each other. Like, they introduced themselves like, oh, like, so good to meet you, like, fine, like, blah blah blah. And then I saw them on their phones like scrolling, and I'm like, that's crazy to me. Like, talk. Like, this is your first meeting, talk, you know? And
Even
so-
now, like I try to, I'm trying to be, I try to be very intentional with not picking up my phone, even when I'm on a date with you. It's not our first date, but this is like, we're 10 years in now, and I still want to be able to like actually listen to you. We say talk with your eyes, right? You should be looking at me. I don't want to talk to your forehead. I want to talk to your eyes. So it's
Right.
like looking at your spouse, sitting across from them, and actually having a conversation. Because
Yeah.
like we say, you should be re-dating or re-getting to know your spouse during every season.
Yeah.
Like dating like it's the first time, because there's going to be changes in your
Yeah,
spouse's
for
life
sure.
that you should be aware of, and that you should be able to speak to and grow from, so that you're continuing to be fresh in your marriage and fresh in your relationships and growing in those different areas. So I think that that's so important, like not just for first dates, but even now, and years after being married, like still
Yeah.
make that a priority. Like put the phone down, like you know what I'm saying, lock in, lock
Yeah.
in.
Lock in.
Lock in.
Yeah, I feel that. And I think like we've had this discussion before about how our story was and how I would like not want that for our daughters necessarily, not because like I don't like how like we are, like I love our relationship. I'm so grateful for that. But there was a lot of stress in the beginning stages because I was not a believer. Not necessarily because I wasn't a believer, because I wasn't saved. And I think that that's so important. If you are a Christian looking for a spouse, like just look in that pool of people. Like don't try to be like, oh, well, they worked out and like I can fix that person. But that's just, you can shine your light and show Jesus, but I wouldn't truly commit yourself to somebody that's not already saved, especially if you're a female looking for a male. You need that male to be a leader, and you need him to be a leader spiritually for you and for your family. And if he's not, and it's you leading him, that's going to be really tough. It's gonna
And not just being saved, right? Because sometimes there's some saved people out there that just be wilding out.
Yeah.
Like y'all just nasty with it. Like, like if you truly are looking for someone who is saved, it's not just the saved portion, but it's make sure that they have the fruits that support what they're actually saying. Like, yeah, you're saved, but like, is he patient? Is he kind? Is he easily angered? Like, is he respectful? Like, are you seeing the fruits of his sanctification?
Yeah.
Like, or is he like, he doesn't answer my phone call all the time. He never texts me. He doesn't pay attention to XYZ. Like, you got to make sure that you're seeing some of the things that you're looking for in a spouse. So that way it's not like, you're not going to be blinded by it down the road. Like, oh, I know he never did that back in the day, but like I expected him to do that.
Yeah.
Like,
Now
no,
that
that's
we're
not
married,
necessarily,
yeah.
that's not necessarily how it works. Like,
Yeah.
at least see a little bit of it, and then you can build on it. But it's like, you can't expect something 10 years down your marriage that you never saw in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, you got to be careful with that. Make sure you're seeing the fruits of what they're actually saying.
Yeah, and that's not necessarily saying like go find the perfect person, and also like don't set your standards so high that like you don't see what God has for you right in front of you. I think that that's the other thing, is like we expect our spouse to be so perfect in the beginning, and you're so enamored with them and you can love them, but truly what God can do in your relationship is build you into one. And so you can be the two most imperfect people, and you can come together and make this beautiful covenant with God and make this beautiful marriage. So like for you to just be like, oh, well, I want to marry this person, but they have XYZ problems. And like, I'm not saying, oh, accept them in all of their issues. Like, I'm not saying, marry an alcoholic thinking like God will redeem him, but just be weary of like just having your standards set too high, where this person is supposed to just have this like clean record, and that you can't, I don't know. I don't want to say settle, because I know that's what culture says, but God can truly make your marriage something beautiful if you're both leaning in on him. And so it doesn't matter what flaws your spouse carries. Those flaws are probably meant to help purify yourself. So.
Yeah, and since we're on that topic, it kind of makes me think of when I tell people like they need to rip up their checklist. And what I mean by that is, there's a lot of women or men out there who have like this checklist of the perfect man, or like the man that they're looking for, the woman that they're looking for. And their checklist is like 20 check boxes deep. Like, okay, yeah, you checked about 15 of them, but them last 5 didn't check. So next. And it's like, and then you're wondering why you're still single. It's like, we need to, there should be some non-negotiables, right? I will say that.
Yeah.
There has to be some non-negotiables. But as far as like how tall he is, like, come on. Like, we shouldn't be focusing so much on the exterior, but on the interior.
Yeah,
So
truly.
I think a lot of people need to rip up their checklist and start to open their eyes to what is really important. Have those non-negotiables in place, but be flexible, because the person of your dreams that you think is gonna be 6'5" is really 5'8" out there, but he checked all the other boxes. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
right.
So
A
he
short
is what
king.
it is. Yeah, you better go get that short king. You know what I'm saying? All my short kings, holla at me in the comments, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not 6 foot. I'd say it on my license, but I'm only 5'9.5", maybe I say 5'10". Okay, let me stop lying, but okay. So it's like that we're being a little bit too superficial when it comes to that sometimes. So I think that we just need to
think
be a little bit
from-
more open minded.
Yeah, I think from just experience, like we're 10 years deep, it's not like the outward is just it's gonna fade. Like it will fade, and truly what's most important
I
is
know
what's
not everybody can
internal.
just keep. Never mind.
Please continue. Go ahead. Oh my gosh, this guy.
Oh my gosh.
All the jokes. I for sure don't look how I looked when we first
I
got
know you look even
married.
better, girl. Look
Oh
at
my
you.
gosh.
You put that dress on. What you trying to do? What you trying to, girl?
Make baby number 4. No, I'm just
Whoa.
kidding.
All right. Let's cut this thing short here, people. Hey, man, we're at home with the Harvey.
No, but I think that's definitely tough. But I think I want to give people more credit than what we're giving them right now. I do think people have a little bit more, I don't know, focus on the right things. I especially like when I talk to some of the younger girls that are single and they're just kind of like dating, or they're focused on their own things. But it does sound like these Christian women that I do know, they have their eyes set on the right things. It's just there's a lot of distraction for both parties, the man and the woman. And it's just really easy for men to be like pleasured without having to have like any kind of relationship. And that's tough for women who are trying to find someone that's like, you know, pure.
Yeah. I mean, I think and maturity goes a long way when it comes
Yeah.
to this. And I think that there were a lot of things that we were immature or unwise about while we were dating. So thinking about while we were dating, what are some things that you remember that were like immature or unwise that we may have done, or that you feel like we could encourage people to look out for and be aware of and not make the same mistakes that we did as we were
Yeah.
dating?
Well, I think we both went into dating thinking that it was going to be temporary. Like, I thought I was going to go to law school in California and you were just going to go back home, or you were going to go play in the NFL. That's what you thought. So you were going to do
The
that. I
Raiders,
was
they're
going to
still
go.
waiting for me to fix my
Yeah.
hamstring. I just gotta stretch this thing
You know, we
out.
both knew we had like plans that weren't like together. So we were dating like to kind of like, I don't know, just for fun. And we had no like future intentions with it. And then it felt like once we started to split and do our own things, neither one of our plans worked out. And we ended up kind of just like still staying together, but not like on paper, not like, you know, we were just in communication talking. But I think one thing that I underestimated about you was that you were like, I want to have a family. I want to have kids. I want to be married. I want to all this. That's your dream. But I never thought of that. I never thought I was going to get married, and I definitely didn't think I was going to have kids. I thought I was going to be like my cool uncle that is like comes to all the parties and graduations and just spoils us all. Like I truly thought that's what my plan was.
Looking like that?
And
Yeah, no chance.
so
No chance.
And so I thought that, like, you know, we were just like having fun, still trying to figure our lives out. And it wasn't until you made a comment about your cousin getting married, and you're like, oh, I had a dream that I proposed to you, and you said no. And I was like, propose? Marriage?
I was testing the water. I'm like, so
I
would
was
you
like,
have
what?
said no? I'm just asking for a friend.
And I was like, oh, whoa. And that's when it first dawned on me, like, oh, I wonder if I could marry this guy. And that's when things started to really align, where I was like, I kind of want a family. I kind of want to choose a career that's like more flexible, where I'm not like tied to my job. And I made some serious career choices, not based on you and like you proposing to me, but the idea of a family. And then I was like, but I could see myself marrying him too. But we still did not talk about marriage until the day you proposed to me. That was a surprise. And so that was beautiful. I loved that part of our story, that I truly had no idea that you were going to propose, and you did it, and I said yes without a ring and all the things, because I felt like that was like me truly saying yes to you, even though it's been like years, 5 years of me being like, no, it's not going to work out. No, we're just friends, like, you know. And then saying yes to you was like, yeah, I'm ready to commit to you and live this life to glorify the Lord. And like, so I think that is probably what I was like, my thought process through our whole dating experience was. I don't recommend for most people. I definitely recommend for you guys to have like very intentional plans, intentional future plans, discuss, you know, talk with each other. So I don't know, if you are just like willy-nillying it, then you might need to have a backup plan.
Yeah, I think so. For me, I think one of the big, like one of the immature and unwise things for me in college, which I talked about a little bit earlier on this podcast, was the community of people that I had around me. So even though we were dating, and I was pretty sure that like you were the one. I was like, oh man, like this, she's checking a lot of the boxes. I'm like, you know, my kids aren't gonna be that tall, so I may not be able to play sports, but. And I was like, but you know, that was one of those things I was just like, you know, maybe I was like, maybe they'll get my height, like I'm tall. I was like, whatever, you know, like, so I was like, I was like, okay, that's fine. Not a big deal. She plays tennis. She's athletic. We'll figure out a different sport. But like, it's like, but in the back of my mind, I was also, well, right in front of me, I was with a lot of my friends we shared a house together. We shared apartments together. And I just saw how they were moving. They were not thinking about marriage at all. I would see them come in and out with a different girl every night. And it was like, when I would talk about like, oh, you know, I'm hanging out with Dana again. Oh, I'm hanging out with Dana again. They would like make fun of me, like, oh, you a simp. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you in love? You in love? Are you in love? Oh, Harvey, little lover boy. You know, it's like, so like they would make fun of it, and I was like, I have girls too. You know, like in the back of my like I was like, oh, I want to fit in, right? But like I said, like you're an average of the 4 to 5 people that you hang out with, and they were the product of my environment in that moment. So it took me a little bit longer to get serious, because I was like, dang, like being serious is not cool right now. Like that's not the cool thing to do. So I was like delaying the inevitable.
Yeah.
And
and
it's
were
really
one of the first people to propose too.
Yeah, it really it took a lot of God, like who was it riding the donkey, that the donkey went up against the wall and the donkey was trying to take him another direction in the Bible.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was like a story like that where like
Judges,
it's a story in Judges.
Joseph? No, not Joseph.
I think it had to do with like Balaam. It was like during that period of time. But it was that story is kind of like what I was going through, where I was like, I'm riding this donkey and I'm trying to take this donkey one way, but God's like, no, this donkey's going to take you this way, you know? So I was like, wait, what's going on here? Because I ended up getting arrested, and then God was like, listen, you are right where you're supposed to be. You need to get more serious, because life is short. You know, I was seeing other relationships of people around me that were starting to get serious, and I'm like, dang, is it that time of my life? And like, I was really just trying to do everything but get serious.
Yeah.
But there were still things that were happening in my life that God kept pushing me towards you, because like you were there still to support me. Like no matter what I was going through, you were there to support me. You were like, no, I'm here for you. Like, what do you need? How can I help get you out of this situation? How can I help you be better? Like you were always there. And it was really God like saying like, hey, I know you're not ready for this, but it's time for this. And then as I was continuing to go down this road, it just became more and more clear that this is what God has for me right now, and forever. Not just right now, but this is for forever, right? So I think that was one thing that I would have changed, and I thought I was very immature in me as I was growing up. Is just I just needed to have better friends around me, and I encourage everybody, like, try to make sure that the people you hang out with are the people that you want to be.
Yeah.
Because either they're gonna pick you up or they're gonna drag you down. So you got to be very careful with the friends that you choose.
Yeah. That's big.
So that was huge for me. What are some biblical principles that we hold on to today that is allowing our marriage to sustain the way that it is?
Well, I would definitely say that living a selfless life, like you truly need to die to yourself every day. Once you start doing that, religiously, like daily, then you start to see like fruit in your marriage, because you start to have this serving mindset rather than having a selfish mindset. Because when you're dating, you are kind of selfish. You're just like, oh, what can you give for me? What can you do for me? How can you provide for me? But when you're in a marriage, you're doing this together and you're one. And so it's not about what can you do for me, it's what can I do for you constantly. And when you think that way, your marriage thrives and the fruit of it is beautiful. I think like I learned it mostly through you, where you're just like, how can I outserve my spouse? And that's super helpful, I think, for people even dating, to have that same mindset. Not necessarily like, let me just like let these people take advantage of me while I just like do all these things for you, but and look for that personality, look for that trait in those people where they can be like, oh, they're not so selfish, they're not just hanging out with me whenever they feel like it. They're like hanging out with me out of the convenience of like my schedule, or things like that. It's little factors that I guess you could probably, other people could point out better in the dating situation, but just seeing that has truly helped in our marriage, is like just being able to help them, because there's no marriage where we're all going to be like 100% all the time, and we need to be there for our spouse through
Do you
the thick
think
and
do you
thin.
think that's something that people should be looking for while they're dating as well? Like
Yeah,
that
for sure.
yeah.
Like that characteristic is not something that's like, it's definitely something I had to like learn in marriage per se, but I think I was always trying to help you in some kind of way. I was always trying to serve you in some kind of way. Like even when we were dating and you would have like a loss, like your team would lose, I would try to pick you up with like some kind of like sweet note and some treats from Winco, and like try to make your spirits up. And then same with you, where you just knew my love language, like words of affirmation. Well, actually, you did not know that was because we didn't even know what love languages were. But you did know that I love notes,
Mm-hmm.
and so you would like leave notes for me to uplift me. You would affirm me a lot, and so I think that when you see those types of things where they're doing things that are not their norm, that's not like what they typically do, but they're doing it out of the love for you, that's a serving mindset.
Yeah.
So, and also just like their mannerisms outside of the relationship. Like, are they serving in church? Are they helping others? Are they like, working in a career that allows time and energy for people to serve?
So I'm thinking about like some of the times that we had in our relationship when we were dating, and then it kind of transitioned to when we were engaged. And this is obviously a specific thing I'm thinking about here, but I wanted to kind of encourage some people in regards to what it looks like as far as like setting physical and emotional boundaries, like as a Christian. And I think in dating in general, this is very good, but I guess we're speaking specifically to the when you're a Christian and you're trying to set these physical and emotional boundaries. Like, what should that look like as you guys are dating and then, hoping to be married at some point?
You tell me.
I mean, I asked the question. No, I mean, sorry, if you want me to answer it. No, I early, when it took a while until I started to truly feel that conviction in our relationship when it came to the physical aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I didn't have the best friends around me in college, so it's kind of what everybody was doing, and I thought I was an outsider if I wasn't doing it as well, and it was just really like thrown in my face. Not you thrown in my face, but it was something that like it was encouraged by men, like, hey, like, yeah, oh, did you get a girl tonight? Oh, yeah, what about you? Like, what about you? Like it was just the cool thing, right?
Yeah.
And obviously it started with my circle of friends, like we talked about before, but then also like setting the boundaries with your partner as well. Obviously, like when you connect on that different level, and I can be completely blunt, right? I can say sex on this podcast. Is that okay? If you guys are having sex, it's more than just a physical attachment that's taking place, but you guys are also taking like, it's also a spiritual
Yeah.
attachment that's taking place. You guys
Yeah.
are becoming one in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and although you feel like, oh, well, since I know this is the person I want to marry, like,
Yeah.
I think it's okay that we do that. It's okay if we get attached spiritually, right?
Mm.
But now, like I said in the podcast earlier, you're giving them the cow. What is it? Give them
The
the cow
milk.
without the milk. Give them the
The
milk
milk.
without the cow. Some milk without the cow, right? Okay, you're giving them the milk without the cow, right? So it's like if they're already getting the milk, what's the point of buying the cow? So you have to be careful with that, because there's a lot of people in relationships right now that are wondering, like, we've been in a relationship for 5 years now, and I just don't know what he's waiting on. And it's like, he's
Because
like,
you're acting like you're married.
yeah, y'all living together, y'all bumping and grinding, like y'all doing the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the point of marriage at this point?
Yeah.
And then also it saves, I think, a lot of the emotional aspect of when you guys do start to get physically attracted like that. It heightens it to another level when you guys are married,
Yeah,
and it's
it
like,
confuses the emotions.
for sure. So I think it's something that you guys need to be careful with. And it took a while for me to get convicted in that space.
I remember.
And it wasn't
when
up
you
until
did, yeah.
it wasn't up until probably, I don't know if I could put a year or a date on it, but it was just like probably year 1 or 2 of year
Maybe.
2, where I was like, I'm like, something's not like, this isn't what we should be doing.
Yeah, and you told me you're like, I feel convicted. I'm like, what does that mean? And then that's actually what sparked me learning and knowing and having a relationship about Jesus. And so I think just you having that conviction at that time in a culture and surrounding environment that was not supporting that culture, that was really beautiful. That was definitely God working in you. But then afterwards, we tried to have like a very pure relationship.
Yeah, we try to set boundaries.
Yeah, and it was easy for us in the beginning because we were living long distance for a long time. And then when I moved down here just a few months before our wedding, we also tried to practice abstinence before we got married, and it truly does make marriage a lot more special when you wait. Even though we were, before doing what we wanted to do, I think like knowing that we were committed to the Lord and then making that change for it, it was like beautiful. I know we can't all be perfect, and so it was just the effort that I think the Lord appreciated.
Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely encourage everyone out there. Like, if you have an opportunity to save yourself for that moment, it's a big deal, right? And if you guys are dating, and those are some things that are taking place while you guys are dating, and you're wondering why there hasn't been a breakthrough, I think it's something that you should assess and you should analyze. And it's not too late. It's never too late to make a change, right? It's never too late to have that aha moment and make a shift in your relationship that could be for the better. Because if you take that out the picture and then all of a sudden they're like, you know what, I don't think this is gonna work, then that should tell you something, right? Then obviously that's not the one. So I definitely would encourage that, and shake it up a little bit and do what's right, because that's not how God created us. He didn't create us to be to give our bodies to everyone. He created us so that we be pure and holy, so that way when we do make it to that special day, when we walk down the aisle, it makes that moment that we get to have after that so much more, and it's more impactful, and I think it goes a long way.
Yeah, because dating is tough right now. Because we're so far removed from the game, and 2, I see what's out there, and I'm like, if Matthew dies tomorrow, I'm gonna be single for the rest of my life, and I'm gonna be completely content with that.
So before we get into what do we have for the people, I do have a question for you, because maybe this is a question that some people may have for us, as far as, and I think you kind of answered this, but I wanted to answer this from my perspective as well, because I'm thinking about like different red flags that we may have seen in our marriage, in our dating space, that we were like, is this a good thing, or is this something that I should kind of step back from? You know what I'm saying?
Like what?
So, I mean, I was just thinking about, so when I met you, and you've come a long way, and it's actually something that was a red flag, but it kind of works out in both of our benefit now. Because I'm thinking about when I started to see how much you admired your work. I think you were like and we talked about this on previous podcasts, just like how much of a workaholic you were. Like, you would always you were very independent, you're very strong, and like, I love that about you. But then sometimes you get like, you were like really attached to your work, where sometimes when things don't go the way you expect at work, like it rocks you. It rocks you a lot. But that was like kind of, it was a red flag for me in a sense. But then it was also like, it was something what I needed, because since I'm like a very playful person, and I like to have fun, I think like you were perfect in that space, because you would help balance me out. You'd bring a lot more seriousness to my work and to what I'm spending time in. And then that helped me to open my eyes to like, hey, like life isn't all just about fun. Sometimes there are moments to be serious, but then it's also finding that balance where, since I was such a fun person, I helped bring you down a little bit more, and like not taking work as seriously. But so it was kind of a red flag at first for me, where I was like, dang, I don't know, because sometimes I do even see it like in our marriage sometimes where I'm like, oh, she's working a lot. I know there's a lot that needs to get done, but then sometimes like the family stuff gets neglected. So was there anything that you kind of saw in that space where you were like, that's a red flag, or maybe it's something that like balanced you out in a sense?
Mm. Well, I would say that in the beginning, I didn't see you as a leader.
Mm,
And like that, I think is a red flag for sure, where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I wasn't thinking about that because I wasn't thinking about marriage. Um, and not seeing you as a leader that's not really healthy because that's how God created you to be in a marriage. But I noticed that once I allowed you to be a leader, like I stopped trying to like control the relationship or control you, and you were able to step into that role, you became like an amazing leader. And so I think that that's like if if you I think I could have seen that if I like opened my eyes and was like truly looking for that, but I kind of just let culture define like how what kind of wife I was going to be, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to be this like boss wife and I'm going to, do all the things," but that's not how God created marriage to look like. And so once I pulled back and let you be a leader, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm seeing this side of him that I've never seen, but I like love even more." And so I think that when we look at our people that we're dating, and if you can see potential in them, that's big. And you
mm.
feed onto that potential. I always saw potential in you. In the beginning, I was like, oh, he's not really leading me.
I'm making you cry.
I don't,
Is my growth?
something is
It's okay
in
if you're
my
crying. If
eye. I
you're crying,
don't
it's
know.
okay. I know my growth as a leader really makes you
Your
emotional.
beautiful growth. I
Oh my
love it
gosh,
so much. I'm
yes.
crying.
Oh my
But
gosh. See what when you guys are a leader in your family, you see the impact it has on your wife. You know what I'm saying? Like it brings them to tears. And I would just encourage everybody to step up. Be the leader that your family
some
needs
like
and wants.
dust touched my eye or
No,
something.
it's leadership that touch
It's
your
the
eyes.
Holy Spirit. No, but I'm just saying, like, if you, so like, that's one thing that I didn't see until much later when we were dating. And I was like, there's so much potential, but I didn't realize that I was one stopping it. And so I think, like, when you're dating someone, to like, not just because they don't have this like role that
Mm,
you think that they should have, like this job, this like, where they should be at age 30 or whatever, don't hold it against them. Like you could be that person that's like encouraging them to be that person that they need to be. Like, I don't think that Matthew would be in this position that he would be in, and I don't think I'd be in this position that I've been in just on our own accord. Like I think we needed each other to build each other up and to grow. And so don't knock that other person just because they're not where you think they need to be. They might just be exactly where God wants them to be.
yeah, and I actually just talked about this today on stories. So I don't know. You guys may know what day we're recording this, depending on when you're watching. But I spoke about how your manhood isn't connected to your dominance. A lot of people think that because they're dominant and they're beating their chest and they're telling everybody what to do, it's like, and because I'm making the money, I'm bringing home the bacon, like I'm the man of this house. Like it isn't connected to your dominance. Sometimes being a man in your family and being a leader in your family, it causes you to wash the dishes, or it causes you to mop the floors, or it causes you to put the kids to sleep, or it causes you just to be supportive to your wife in whatever season they're in. They may be the breadwinner in your life right now, and God is calling you to a season to support them because this is their moment. This is their area of growth. This is their moment of growth, and that may be something that's intimidating to a lot of men. But I think that if you are truly being a man that the moment demands, you'll understand that God is calling you to be that man during this season. And that's what manhood really is being adaptive
Mm-hmm.
and being able to be flexible and knowing that, hey, like right now is not the season for it to be all about me. And just because there's a little bit shift in your relationship where, let's say your wife is getting the gigs, like she may be getting these speaking engagements, or she may be getting these different opportunities that you weren't getting. Like it may look like that, but that may be the moment for you to say, hey, I'm here to support you. What do you need me to
Mm-hmm.
do? Do you need me to go pick up the kids from school? Do you need me to whatever that looks like for you? That's truly what I feel like being a man is. And I think you should be seeing some of that while you're dating. You should see the flexibility in your guys' relationship. You should see a man who's not barking at you or telling you like it's his way or the highway type deal. And then especially if you're dating and the things that they're telling you to do is not aligned biblically. I think that goes a long way. So that in order for you to know what's not aligned biblically, you got to know what's in the Bible. You got to know what the Bible says. You got to know what the Bible says about relationships, what it says about how you guys should be equally yoked. Like a lot of that plays a role in dating and being married. And if you're not seeing that, then you're not necessarily seeing what God has for you in a man.
Yeah.
So if it feels like you're in a situation right now where you don't have a voice, like that's a red flag. That's something that you should be aware of.
That's not what submission is either. And you shouldn't have to submit to a man when you're dating. That happens with marriage. So I think like you can still have a voice and submit to your spouse. I feel like that's like the misconception in culture. And so for me and my gifts, like it may look dominant, but my gifts are to support his leadership. So like I may curate and manage all this content or whatever, but all of this is to help him, to assist him. That's my role. And so for women out there that are looking for a man, I wouldn't pour all of your beans into a guy who just can...
Beans. I haven't heard that one in a while.
It's not beans?
Pour your beans?
Put all your eggs in a basket.
There we go. I don't know what beans is. You so country? Talking about beans? What you talking about?
Beans in a bot.
Beans? Sorry, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, okay. Anyways, so
corn beans. No. Don't pour all your beans into one pot, guys. All right.
Well, that sounds terrible too, because you don't want to be spreading your beans all over all the different pots.
That sounds crazy. If you got beans, you need to go see somebody. Get that checked. She gave me the beans. What? What did she?
I don't know. I don't know. It's getting hot in here. He turned the AC off. I don't have words.
Okay. All right. We can wrap it up now. Let's see. So what advice do you have for them? What do you got? What do you got?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know. I guess I think my advice is too harsh, but just
give it to them raw,
be content.
Uncut.
Be content in your season. If the Lord has singleness for you, the Lord has singleness for you, and there's sanctification in that. But if He has marriage for you, there's sanctification in that. So be content with whatever God is giving you in that season, and He'll bless you with whatever your heart desires if you're aligned with God.
My gosh, we should have started the podcast that way. We should have shouted out to our single people watching, because there's nothing wrong with being single.
No.
All right? Singleness is a blessing, just like being in a relationship is a blessing. When you're single, that gives you more opportunity to focus on yourself, prepare yourself to be the person that you want for yourself in the future.
Yeah.
All right. So don't force relationships. I think the more you focus on yourself, the more you focus on your relationship with God, the more you'll understand, and the closer you'll get to being in the relationship that God has for you. So take your time. Take your time. I'll end with this, because that was a good one, but I'm just going to give y'all some Bible on the way out. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And then it goes on to say, in all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. But I think I wanted to focus on that, leaning not on your own understanding, because that's a lot of what I was doing during those years where I was being stubborn, and I was thinking that there was a different life out there for me, when the life that God had for me was right in front of me. Yes. So I needed not to lean on my own understanding, but I needed to lean on his ways and what he has for us, and trusting that he was going to provide and give me the exact person that I needed at the exact time, and it was right in front of me. And sometimes the one that's for you is right in front of you guys.
Ooh.
Right in front of you.
Ooh. It's a message for somebody.
Okay, I think I'm going to stop there then.
Get him out that friend zone.
Ooh, I ain't say all that, but okay, she said it. All right. Well, hey, y'all, listen. Yeah, I'm not going to do the... Y'all know where to follow us. Y'all know what to do. We love y'all. Thank y'all for tapping in. Y'all know what time it is. Mario, drop the beat. Yay!